You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Join the party that is Make Your Day Richer TV by advertising your brand, business, or project during the show. Use us to promote what you're doing to make our viewers' day richer. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, hi everyone, welcome to this day after Christmas. All right, everyone. All right, what's going on with my hair? And also, it's always backwards. Okay, anyway, I hope you all had a great Christmas. I had literally probably the best Christmas I've had in years. Thanks to some friends of mine, Jay and Michael, who hosted Christmas brunch. And so we went over there all afternoon and played games and ate too much. And it was so fun. So thank you, Jay and Michael, for doing that. Thank you, Rebecca, for playing all the games, for bringing all the games. It was so fun. And you know, a lot of shows the day after Christmas will have reruns or pre-recorded stuff, but we are live for you. You're welcome. And thank you for watching. And now is a really great time to just press share while you're watching this. Share. Watch this really good episode. That's what you should do right now, would you? Okay. And if you got a bunch of Amazon gift cards, you should check out our gift guide at makeyourdayricher.com/shop. But I guess it's not a gift guide anymore. It's just a, hey, here's some stuff that Richard really likes. And maybe you will too. So if you've got some Amazon gift cards, go check that out and get yourself something good, would you? I gave great presents. One is actually happening right now. There are people, I've never had like a full car detail before, but they are outside right now detailing my, so I won't tell you who they are in case it's a really bad job, but I'll tell you about it tomorrow. I'm very excited about that because, you know, when you got a big fluffy dog, there's a lot of hair. And so that's getting done right now. I'm very excited. But also, so this is a gift from my grandma. My grandma got us these little lanterns. My grandma's a huge QVC shopper. And so these arrived actually in a box in September and then a phone call that said, keep your grubby hands off the box until Christmas. So we opened these up and they're very cute. They come with a little candle, like, let me turn it on. You probably can't see it in the light. But they have little candles that are battery operated, and there's a remote and all that fun stuff. They're very cute. And so these are obviously going to go in the house. But my grandma must think that either I love lanterns or she really loves lanterns. She really loves lanterns because 2 Christmases ago, this is what I got from her. It's a lantern. So either she thinks I'm not bright enough or I live in the dark. I'm not sure, but I also love this. This sits outside, and these will go inside. But my grandma, who's 93 years old, the best. And actually, now that I think about it, because she probably opened it yesterday, I got her a lantern as well. Maybe there is a theme, and I don't even know. So maybe she's also like, why does Richard think I want lanterns? It's just the thing we have, I guess, together. Okay, so we have a great show today. That's all I have for you. I think, let me check everything else. Yes, that's all I have. And so we're going to get to our guest today because it's a great show. It's the day after Christmas. I hope you have off. I hope you're not working. Hang out. Enjoy. All the parents, congratulations on pulling it off. Good job. Okay, anyway, let's get to the show. Shall we? We shall. So how does one find their identity after a life-changing event? Today, we're exploring this question with the author of the new haiku collection, C6C7, right here on your screen. Let's show it, C6C7. This powerful book chronicles his experience becoming disabled, navigating recovery, and ultimately rediscovering himself through the art of haiku. With Andrew Cloninger. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. All things considered, this is
yes.
it's kind of one of those days, It's a little
Well,
gloomy. Yeah.
it's the day after Christmas, so there's always that build up and then the
Yeah.
little sadness after.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
Yeah.
but we'll try to pick it up for the new year for sure.
Yes. Are you a New Year's resolution person, or?
I'm more of a take inventory of my what happened over the year, and then try to set goals, like attainable goals. I think that's kind of, and sometimes too, my wife and I, we try to get a word for the year, and try to use that as like not a guide, but just like, I want to be more, present, or, I want to be more, risk taking, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, we try to come up with something that can kind of guide the year as such. We can never predict what's going to really happen, but that's kind of, that's always been kind of a thing for us, is just try to, set some attainable, realistic goals, like, I'm not gonna
ones that you won't get mad.
Yeah.
Yes. The ones where I'm gonna go to the gym 6 days a week, and and I'm only eating fruits and vegetables, and then by lunch on New Year's Day, you're like, all right, well, this is stupid.
Right? You're in the break room. It's like, nah, this ain't gonna work.
So I'll try again next year.
Yeah.
That's so
for sure.
I do, however, see a piano behind you.
Oh, yes.
And had I known there was going to be a piano, I would have been like, are you going to perform for us? We could have planned this better.
Dude, yeah.
Are you
I am a dabbler in the piano. My piano teacher hated me.
Oh, wow.
And the other problem with that particular piano is it's not tuned very well. So it needs to be tuned. That's definitely on the list, as they say.
Not so learning the piano, not on the 2020 or 2025 list of things.
That's not on the list. No, that is not on the list. Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah. That's that. It's funny about that is the record that we're currently working on. We were just finishing up tracking some cello and stuff like that, and it's funny because one of the songs I actually played piano on, and it's really like, oh, if she could see me now, but it's like a very basic kind of track thing. But it was funny because it's just like, it takes me back to that thing of like, just do it. Just try it, see if it works, and if it doesn't work, we'll do it again and see if we see if that but it's one of those things that live I get a little bit of anxiety about the piano, but in the studio setting, for me it's not as intimidating because you can do it again.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I was a theater major and was like, that's too much pressure. No, thank you.
Yeah. That's a lot, especially with, I'm, as a guitar player, I'm more of a chord type guy. I mean, I do leads and stuff like that, but like my main, ability is to hold down the rhythm section. That's kind of, my biggest, skill set, as they say. And so like, I'm more of the bricklayer in the band, as they say. and so because then I can let my bandmate Melissa, she's a great cello player and cellist, and so she gets all the solos, as they say, which is fine with me. It doesn't bother me too much.
How long have you been in the kind of the musical world? Did you grow up learning instruments?
Yeah.
When did you fall in love with music?
Yeah. Like it was early. It was very early. I was performing, whether it was like, little productions like, at school or even before that, like in church and stuff like that. I was doing little musicals and and sketches and that kind of stuff. But also, my grandmother would take us to an old, like a old retirement home type deal, and we would sing hymns. She would play the piano, and my sister and I would sing, to the residents there, and so that, I mean, we were like 8 or 9 when we started doing that, and then as I got older,
we have a video. I wish.
Yeah,
a better show. I'd be like, hey, send us a video. Here it is. Yeah.
It's like, no, yeah, it's funny. Yeah. I mean, we're talking, 80s at that point, so, yeah, it was interesting. It was, I didn't know any different, like that was kind of, you just did it, that was like part of the thing, and I didn't really understand that it was different than, because I played sports and stuff like that too. Like, it was kind of I grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. That's where I was born up there. And
I want to talk about that because I'm from northern Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. So you understand. Okay. A little, yeah.
Yes.
You get it.
We spend a lot of time in Ironwood, Michigan. I don't know
Okay,
if you've
yep.
been there.
Absolutely.
My sister-in-law is from Bessemer.
Okay. Yep.
So yes. So you are probably frozen in your home right now from snow?
Well, actually, I live in upstate New York now.
Okay.
But I was born and raised, we moved to upstate New York when I was 14. Okay. So I spent most of my formative years in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and then, high school and college, and now I live up here in New York. But yeah, I spent a lot. Yeah, I was frozen most of the time. Yeah, and I was
in New York. You probably are too. So not much has changed.
It's hilarious because it's actually more cool. I mean, I don't know about you, but like when I was a kid, you could actually get school off because it was too cold to stand at the bus stop. Like here, it was funny because it was, I don't know, it was like 30 degrees or whatever. And everybody's, oh, it's really cold. And I was like, whoa, it's shorts weather.
That's what I'd say. I'm like, this is summer in Wisconsin. So yes. Yeah. I lived in Texas for a little while, and the thought of it being below 40, the entire state would shut down. And I was like, we could have 3 feet of snow, and they would go, it's a 2-hour delay from school. Well, you'll get here. Don't worry about it.
You're not, you just got to take your time. We're going to put some dirt down. And it would just take your time. It'll be fine.
That's so funny and so true. Yes. Yeah. What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a kid?
So it's funny because, like when you're early on, it's like, I want to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a pilot. That was my big thing. I wanted to fly planes because I grew up next to an Air Force base, K.I. Sawyer Air Force Base up in near Marquette, Michigan, and so we saw the Top Gun landings and stuff like that. They had the B-52s flying overhead, and so I thought that was the coolest job of all time. I was really into aviation, but I think when I started early on, like 6th grade, I started to realize that, hey, I can write, and I understand music. Like I always kind of understood, like I could always hear music in my head. Like I could always I would hum my own songs and stuff like that, even if I wasn't a very good instrumentalist at the time. And then I had this great music teacher, she did all the productions. She did all the, she was one of those teachers that did everything. Mm-hmm. And she was between like 4 different schools, and, she was crazy and awesome and really encouraging. And she was like, dude, you can do it. You can do this thing. And it was funny too, because I was probably the poorest sight reader in the room, but the one thing that I was always good at was I didn't quit at anything. And I think that's the biggest, for me, that was the biggest asset, was my perseverance, was, not quitting, like I think, and also having different, like understanding the whole job as opposed to I'm just the guitar player. I just show up and plug my guitar into the amplifier and play, you know. I became more useful than that. Like, you know, I understand how to solder wires. I understand how to, you know, set up a PA. I understand, you know, like I went to school for pro audio and stuff like that, audio production and that kind of thing. And you know, church is kind of useful for that too, because, you know, there's an audio guy, there's, you know, and there was like this old hippie guy and he's like, let me show you how to mix, you know, like, yeah, it's like one of those deals, you know, like leftover, you know, that kind of thing. And I was like, okay, am I allowed to hang out with this guy? You know,
we're still not sure.
Yeah. The jury was definitely out on that guy. He was off the grid for sure. But yeah, it was funny though, because, you know, you learn a lot, you know, just by seeing and doing. And then I also had I had an older cousin who was a drummer, and it was like, that was like the biggest deal for me, because I got to see how bands were run. I got to see how, you know, like, even if you're doing DIY, like, you know, okay, you practice every week, you know, you set up your show. This is how you set up your show. This is how you do, you know, do all that stuff. So, you know, as a 12-year-old, I'm like soaking it all in, because I understood I love that stuff. This is the cool, like, music. Like, even listening to, like, you know, your parents' music or listening to music on it was like, it really affected me on how I like just like even metaphysically, like I you know, I hear like Comfortably Numb, you know, or something like that. And, you know, that's that oldies music. But like, for me, it was like, whoa, what is this? You know, like, it was just, you know, very, very, like, it was almost like visceral and very real. You know, like I could see it almost, you know, it was very interesting. And still, like, I still get that from time to time, you know, like, even though I kind of understand how it's made now, but like, even now, like, there will be times I'll put something on and I'll be like, oh, I see all the colors. And it's like it's a physical sensory thing. And it's unbelievable. And it's a great, that's when, you know, the music or the artist is great, was when you can, you know, for me anyway, is when you can actually like see what's coming out of the speakers. You know, it's kind of, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, it's a little mystical, but at the same time, there's something very physical about the acoustics.
Agreed.
When it comes out of the speakers, and when it comes out of, you know, whatever you're listening to. I prefer to listen to stuff, you know, not in earbuds. I like to listen to it in a room where you have the ambience and stuff like that. There's something about how it bounces off the walls, and I don't know. It's for me, that's the best way to listen to music. Or like in like at a theater or something like that, where you can really, you know, you could really feel. And when you have a good sound system and a good sound man, that's even better. You know, that's like bonus. And as we all know, is that?
Well, as we all know, what?
I was going to say, as we all know, sometimes, you know, a good sound man is few and far between.
yes, that's what we've learned today. That'll be the title of this episode. You've been writing music for so long. When did you decide to write about music and your book? When did that? When did that come about?
So the book, so about, I don't know, it was like I got really injured. I got a neck injury in it was like 2018, around there, and I got nerve damage in my left hand. And for a right-handed guitar player, it's pretty tough, because that's the hand that you use to press down the strings on. And so I couldn't even fret the guitar. I couldn't play the guitar, and I couldn't play the other instruments that I normally do. And so it was very devastating. It was like, okay, who are you now that you can't do this thing that you've always done? You know, and that people, you know, that was kind of like an identity thing. Like, you know, a lot of artists are bivocational, but, you know, nobody cares that you make your money, you know, working at a warehouse. You know, they care about, you know, the art that you're making, which is kind of an interesting dichotomy, you know, sometimes. And so you know, it was interesting because for me, it was almost like a very big, you know, like internal crisis. Like, okay, what do I do now? And so my first love was always been writing. I think that's always been the thing. Like since I was like in 6th grade, I had a lot of encouragement to do it, and I just kind of like, you know, I would use it to, you know, write songs and stuff like that. I would, you know, do it that kind of thing. But this time I was like, okay, I'm going to really sit down and I'm going to really get into the forms. So I wrote a whole book of haiku called C6, C7, which is kind of about my injury and how I kind of like got through it, and with the support of my family and that kind of thing. And I was lucky enough to get it picked up by Atmosphere Press, which was pretty cool. And so it was one of those like very cathartic, you know, because I do touch on music in there, and it's like, okay, you know, this thing has been the thing that, you know, that you've been able to do. It's the thing that people know you for. It's the thing that, you know, so what is your relationship with that and with other people, you know, now that this thing isn't there right now? And so that was a big question, you know, to ask yourself and to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're more than that. You know, you are more than just the piece of wood in the metal strings that you're playing. Like, you're more than that. And you have to, you know, find whatever worth you have. You need to put it all in. And that was a very, very, it was a very cathartic thing. It was very, I needed it. And it was funny because the way that I work is I mull things over in my head. I just kind of like ruminate and just kind of, you know, mull it over, and then I do the thing. And then I execute. And so it was funny because I kept telling my wife, I was like, I think I'm going to write a book, you know, or a poetry book. And she goes, do it, you know, do it. Let's see what you got, you know? And so I ended up using the haiku format. And so I did that. And so that was I wanted it to be very disciplined. I wanted it to, you know, not be free verse. I wanted it to be a very, a disciplined form of, you know, if you're going to write something, you know, the craftsmanship of it was what I was really focused on, and you know, making sure it was crafted well, but also that it told the story, you know, that it was a narrative as well. And I have to say, I was pretty proud of it. I was very happy and pleased with the results. But yeah, it took about, I would say it took about 6 to 7 months to just kind of ruminate over it, but the execution went quick. The editing and the production of the book, that was the longest part of the whole thing. But you know, when you get your editors involved, that's when it gets fun, you know? So, yeah, but it actually went pretty well. They were very supportive, and, you know, when they read the manuscript, they understood what it was. And so that was kind of cool that they, you know, that they saw the vision right away and got behind it. So that was pretty cool.
And where can people get the book?
It's on Amazon, Atmosphere Press. I mean, wherever you get your books, you can get it. It's through Amazon distribution, so you can get it pretty much anywhere. Barnes and Noble, all that stuff. So it's online mainly, but yeah, you can get it pretty much everywhere. So
okay, good. Cool. And explain to people what a haiku is.
Yeah, so it's a Japanese form, and there's a couple different. I mean, it's tough because in English, it doesn't translate as well because you know, Japanese is as a symbol language, so it's a little bit different. But generally the form is 5. Let me make sure I do this right. I think it's 575. But what I did was I used, and those are syllables, and so, but instead of, I wanted to get more information out into the poems, so I used a 757 format, which is a little bit different. But I thought, yeah, you know, it's not exact anyway. So, what's the, as long as it's crafted correctly,
Yeah.
Let's just do it, And so that was kind of my spin on it, like that was kind of what I thought was an interesting little, let's be creative about it. Let's try to, factor in, and really hone in on something that's unique to that. So that was a fun little exercise and a fun way to exercise the writing skill, and that was always been my thing. Like, I don't have an MFA, I don't have like all the paperwork, as they say, and so a lot of what I've done is self, just work at it, read the greats, and understand where they're coming from, understand, that you can take this by the, you don't have to have, it's fascinating because a lot of my heroes don't have a piece of paper that says that I am a competent writer. And I think that's a newer form of validation that isn't really valid in a lot of ways, because what happens is, and I don't know if you find this a lot, but like what happens is everything becomes homogenized. It becomes a thing where, okay, we were all taught one way how to do this thing. It's like singers is a classic example. I could pick out of a lineup which singers went to college and which ones didn't. It's because they all got taught the same method. And it's hilarious because can you carry a tune or can't you? I think that's kind of how I feel about it. And and like you said, you're from the theater world, so that's a whole different style of singing, in general. Like, it's sometimes people are a little bit better at the acting than the singing, or vice versa, maybe a little bit better at the singing than the acting, whatever, there's a mix sometimes, or sometimes they're great at both. And that's amazing too. But, it's fascinating to me, is someone telling a story? That's what I want to know. And whether it's, instrumental music, poetry, writing, singer-songwriter stuff, rock band stuff, whatever it is, like, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say something? And that's the thing that I'm really looking for. That's what I look for when I'm trying to create something is, am I telling a story? Am I saying something? Because if I'm not saying anything, I shouldn't say anything at all. That's kind of the way that I look at it, is like, some music works better than others, and maybe you're playing a little bit of John Cage or Lamont Young or something like that, which is a little more experimental, and maybe you don't get it, maybe you do, who knows, but it doesn't negate the art, but it also is like when someone's playing atonal music or something like that, there's something that they're working through, and as much as someone that's singing the greatest melody you've ever heard, or like Queen, or whatever, some of these great singers or musicians, so it's very fascinating to me, the whole creative process.
What do you love most about your life right now?
I love that I have the ability to be there for my family, and that I'm able to create on a regular basis, in a regular, like a regular, I have apparatus around me right now that I'm able to create, pretty much every day, which is awesome. And that's a rare, because that's not always been the case, for me right now. Right now I'm able to, my band has a regular residency, which helps with the creative process, because then, we're able to create, we can generate enough revenue to actually record and do that kind of stuff. And then also, like, with the books and, all the other things that I'm doing, I'm able to do stuff, and the access to releasing things has come so, like, it's unbelievable how easy it is. Like, there's not very many I mean, in one way it's really great because there's not a lot of gatekeepers anymore. But on the other hand, it's hard too, because then there are no gatekeepers, and then there's so much going on, so, it's a tough, in some ways it can be tough, but in other ways too, it's like, okay, that just means I have to be more creative, and I have to come up with better concepts, and that's kind of something that we're, like the creative people that I have around me, we're trying to come up with some newer ideas on how to present things. And so that's kind of like that's like the 2025 goal situation, coming back to that is like, okay, how do we present what we have in a way that is sustainable, and I think that's the toughest part of being a creative person or an artist is how do we do this so that we can make a living, and that we're not, scraping by all the time or asking for favors all the time, and, that everybody can have a living wage and that type of thing, but also doing the thing that we were called to do. I think that's always been the conundrum, from the, first time someone was, cave drawing, like, how do we monetize this, but, that's kind of how it is. Like, trying to, as far as like, having patronage or, there's always been that throughout all of history, there's been some sort of patronage, so it'll be interesting to see the next couple of years and how they kind of shape up and what that means for creative people, but also what it means for society as a whole. I think that we're going into some interesting times, and so it'll be interesting to see how we can navigate that and still be, have our integrity, and also, be able to put great beauty in the world. That's kind of the goal.
What's the best way that people can connect with you and follow you? And
the best way is Instagram. I mean, Instagram, okay. Facebook, those are the best ways. At Ren Cove and on Instagram, and I think it's at Ren Cove Music on Facebook. So those are really the best ways. And you can check out our website, www.rencovemusic.com, that's kind of where we, all the happenings are, and we're on all the platforms too. We have music on Spotify, Pandora, all the other ones as well. I have some music under my own name. Actually, our EP Trees actually got released under my name, which is kind of it was a snafu and this craziness. But anyway, that's our Renco's EP Trees is what our current EP. Then we have a couple singles out. One's called The Conversation, and the other one is called Melanie's Song, which is our most recent release. So yeah, and then we're in the studio right now. We just finished tracking the cello, and now we're going into mixing, which is always the most daunting part. What do we have? And so, that's kind of, it'll be 11 songs, and it's entitled Movement, and we're really excited about it, and we can't wait to show everybody what we've been up to. So that's kind of the fun part. So,
well, I hope you come back when that comes out, maybe perform.
Sure.
And chat about that. Go to the website, go buy the book, go get the music.
Yes,
Andrew, thank you
please.
so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great. Thank you.
Of course. Come back anytime. Well, take a break and be right back after this.
Tired of harsh chemicals in your home? Let's change that. At EcoGlow Cleaning, we bring eco-friendly expertise right to your doorstep. We will make your day richer by bringing a glow to your home or office. For over 20 years, EcoGlow Cleaning has been the trusted choice for professional cleaning services in the Charlotte area. From deep cleaning to regular maintenance, EcoGlow Cleaning offers a wide range of services. All services are tailored to your needs and schedule. Our eco-friendly products ensure a healthy and safe environment for you and your family, including your pets. For a free quote, visit our website at www.ecoglowcleaning.com or give us a call at 704-777-9768. EcoGlow Cleaning is a proud sponsor of Make Your Day Richer TV.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Go make your day richer. Go make someone else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show, and I love you for it. Now's a great time to also share the show. Just click share and make someone's day richer by doing that, would you? On tomorrow's show, we have the author of The Singer Sisters, Sarah Seltzer, will be here tomorrow talking about that book. It's a great book, and buy the book for nothing other than the cover if you have to. I mean, read the book because it's a great book, but the cover, take that cover off and frame it. It's a beautiful cover, and Sarah will be here talking all about that. All right, have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching. I love you. Goodbye.